Welcome, friends, to the Fashionista Life podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Johnson. If you found yourself here, it may mean that you're looking for courage, clarity, or confidence in some part of your life. Or maybe you just want to be entertained, and that is fabulous as well. Friends, let's go ahead and get started. Today, we welcome into the studio Stephen Calakos, and he is the Education Director of Gulfshore Playhouse. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been on before. Amazing podcast. It was wonderful. Your background is so diverse, from education to the arts, and here we are again. You have your degree in education, your degree in theater, and you've taught school for 11 years before you're doing what you're doing now. And you're also a professional actor, singer, model. You've got national credits, which we talked about last time. So cool. And I really want to dive into today about arts in our children's education. The kids are headed back to school now. And I just want to talk about how important that is from your point of view, because you come from not only the educational background of teaching, you said fourth graders, and then middle school, to now you're the educational director and you have control over some of the things that they're being exposed to. How is arts? And I'm not just talking about dance and theater, but I mean, there's band and there's physical painting and all of those things. How important is that?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I'll say that.
I know. Do we have a long time?
So I'll start by saying that every successful school and or school district has a strong visual and performing arts program. There are studies that prove students excel in core subject areas like language arts, like math, like science, when they are exposed to art, whether that's playing an instrument, whether that's performing, whether that's painting. The students need to be exposed to that. They need to study it. And I'm not saying, to have an academy or some type of conservatory within a school, but students should have the experience of any type of visual performing arts, because it is important. And, I said this last time on your podcast, and I'll say it again, art is a reflection of life. And when you immerse yourself in it, even if it's for a little bit of time, you gain a better sense of awareness for not only yourself, but also for the world. And you understand the universe a little bit better. And that makes you a more well-rounded person. And some would say that's not very measurable, but it is. It is. You measure that with the success and the skills that you acquire through your life, because you've had that foundation of visual and performing arts. And for me, of course, it's performance. It's
Right.
It's performing arts, it's theater, it's learning how to read music, it's learning how to communicate your feelings to somebody else. Those are life skills you need to have as an adult.
Right. The physical, the mental, emotional, on top of all the academia aspects of it. And I think that's why I'm not very good at math. Okay, I'm going to blame it, because growing up, there wasn't that emphasis on the arts. That just didn't happen back then. Some 40 something.
But also,
I don't tell you how old I am, but
but also you weren't given permission to express yourself.
True.
And say what you want about this, the Gen Zers right now, they have no problem telling you how they feel. And I envy that. I'm a millennial, and I think that we have definitely grown up in an era where we remember what life was like before cell phones, before the internet, and after.
Barely, right?
I was in middle school.
You were on the earlier.
I was like 13, 14 years old, which you remember.
True.
That's a lot of your life, a lot of your adolescent life before
I grew up
the internet.
Without
any of that. Listen, I thank God I didn't have Facebook or Instagram or anything in high school.
I know, right?
Because
that's hard.
It's very difficult to disconnect. And when it comes to theater arts, it's the first thing that you do in a rehearsal space. You put your phone away, you disconnect, and you are now with this group. You're present. And, we don't talk about it that often. And we also allow that creative space to have open conversation about what we are doing. listen, theater's a weird thing,
No,
right?
it's not weird.
It truly is. Like it's such a strange thing that we do. We dress up and we tell someone else's story, but that's what life is, and people have been doing that for centuries.
Right.
And we have to recognize that it's not something necessarily new. It's something that is and should be part of our daily lives.
And you touched on something. You said when we go into rehearsals, we put our phones away. So right there is a life skill that it's teaching these kids. Be in the present, because that's something that I struggle with. And I know all of us do, right? We always have these, and I'm holding up my phone. If you're not watching us on
I see
YouTube,
it. It's a nice case. I
no,
like your
thanks.
case.
Sparkly. It's not pink, but we're always on our phones. We're always in front of a screen, and when we're doing that, we can't sit here and have a one-on-one conversation and get something out of it, much less remember what the heck it is that we said or what the other person said. So you can't, you can't do that.
I don't know how many times I've worked with students and they don't know how to look at each other face to face, eyes to eyes. They're looking away. They don't, for some reason, they missed that skill, or maybe it's just something that something's making them uncomfortable. And if that's the case, then we talk about it.
Right.
And that's what we need to do. We need to be able to communicate. I think now more than ever,
right,
in this current climate that we're living in, people need to communicate better. And you'd think with the technology that we have, we should be able to, but it's actually having the opposite effect. And so I see it in a rehearsal space and on stage that these students are learning how to communicate with each other through theater arts.
So, that goes into something else I was going to talk about, is as far as the things that they can get from art, from the arts, that they can't get anywhere else.
I think they figure out who they are through theater arts. Like what drives them? What do they want to be, or who do they want to be, and how do they get there? And I think that they learn that through becoming other people or other things. They could become a snowman, or
I love it. Can I be Olaf?
Right. You got that reference.
I like warm hugs. I say that all the time.
Don't we all want to be Olaf, right?
But my favorite part of Olaf is when his nose falls off, and doesn't it like stick him in the butt or something? I don't know. Sorry, I digress.
Yes. You mentioned the word butt in any kid show. It's in Finding Nemo, right?
Right.
I don't touch the butt.
Yeah. They had to throw it in there.
Right, of course. It's cheap humor, but kids and adults love it.
Yeah, we're laughing already. We're,
Exactly. And that's what makes us happy, right? Theater makes us happy. Theater makes us think. Theater makes us cry. Theater evokes so many, if not all, of our emotions in a 2.5 hour time slot, and nothing else does that for us.
You're right.
We could watch a movie, we could watch a TV show, but nothing compares to witnessing this in person. There's a study out there, and I'll credit Kristen Corey, our CEO and founder and producing artistic director. She says there's
at Gulfshore
Playhouse. Yes. She always says this, and there's so much truth to it, that there's a study out there when a group of people are watching something and they're feeling the same types of emotions, that their actual heartbeats are syncing with each other.
Oh, wow.
And, we've all experienced that moment where, we sort of like have this out of body experience because we're watching something and we're either we're having this like emotional recall watching it. And it's so true. And when you see it on stage, you have that intimacy happening.
Right.
And nothing else can replicate that.
Right. The goosebumps, all of it.
I mean, listen, put me at an Eagles football game, or a Phillies World Series game, or a Philadelphia Union soccer game. Yes, I'm from Philadelphia.
Wow, you're 1 for 1 now.
I'm 0 for 3 this year.
Like, what? Okay, got to throw that in there every time, guys.
And everyone's chanting Eagles. Yes, we know how to spell Eagles. So we make sure everyone knows that. But there is that camaraderie, right? But again, it's sports, and it's heavy hitting, right? And you feel that nostalgia because it's from the city that you live in. But when you're watching art, it's making you dive a little bit deeper.
Is your closet overflowing, or maybe your kids' closets are as well? Or maybe you just want to redecorate your house. If you're wondering what to do with all that stuff that you've accumulated, bring it all to True Fashionistas or even ship it to them for free, and they'll sell your unwanted items for you. All you have to do is sit back and collect your money. You can check them out online at truefashionistas.com or come into the store or check them out on Facebook or Instagram, and that's truefashionistas.com. Hi, friends. We welcome back into the studio Stephen Calakos with Gulfshore Playhouse, and we're chatting about kids and theater and in the arts. Okay. So, what is something that parents can do, in your opinion, that can get them more into arts?
There are several avenues that parents can take to expose them to the arts. Specifically, and I'll say this, post pandemic, the pandemic really hit theaters hard.
Mhm.
It hit families hard. Students were forced to learn from home because we had to. We had to.
Right.
We experienced this collectively, right? And now post pandemic, um, families are suffering financially, and so theaters are also suffering financially because traditionally theaters are family friendly, right?
Right.
And now it's becoming more evident that it's expensive,
Mhm.
even more than it was before, to go to the theater.
Mhm.
And so, specifically with Gulfshore Playhouse, we recognize that. And so, we have need based scholarships for all of our programs. So, there is an application process, but
Mhm.
from one of our uh, classes where it's over like a Halloween themed
Mhm.
class, or it's one of our winter break conservatory classes, or it's one of our productions. There's always going to be a fee attached to it, but we also offer scholarships because we know that not all families have the means,
Mhm.
and we want to make quality theater experiences accessible for everyone in our area. So I would, if I was a parent
Mhm.
of a student who really wanted to become involved and just get to experience quality educational programming at a theater. And there are other theater organizations in town. Of course, I will advocate for Gulfshore
Of
Playhouse,
course.
but I would encourage them to go on our
Mhm.
website, gulfshoreplayhouse.org, and look at our education offerings because we have many different classes for students of all
Mhm.
ages, and scholarships are available.
Now, you touched on something about the community. I know you have a lot of community partners.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what those are.
Sure. One of our biggest community partners is the Collier County Public School District.
Okay.
And so we have partnered with them where we go into all of the middle schools and high schools, and we work with the teachers and students and in building and enhancing their theater arts programs. Because a couple years ago, there were relatively no clubs or
That's wild.
after school theater
Mhm.
arts programs. And now every middle school offers at least one theater arts class during the day and an after school club. And every high school offers at least one or two theater classes and a theater club after
That's
school.
pretty something to be pretty darn proud of.
Absolutely. We're so proud of the students and staff because it's not easy. It's a lot of hours
Mhm.
and a lot of dedication from both teachers, administrators, and students. Another partnership that we have is with Artist Naples and the Naples
Mhm.
Philharmonic. So this is quite a unique experience and opportunity that we offer for students in our area. Every fall, we adapt a Shakespeare play,
Mhm.
and we use the Naples Philharmonic to underscore
Mhm.
this relatively shortened Shakespeare play, and we offer it to all of the junior class of Collier County Public
Oh,
Schools.
wow.
So we unfortunately have had to cancel it the last couple of years because of
Right.
COVID and Hurricane Ian.
Mhm.
So we're excited to bring it back this fall. And the reason why we have this partnership is because there was a study, again in Collier County,
Mhm.
that showed by the time students graduated high school, it was like only 5% had seen a professional production in their
Wow.
lives.
And I
So
can believe that. I
yeah,
mean, it's
absolutely, and that's changing. The demographics are changing in Collier County,
Mhm.
and opportunities are the idea of seeing a professional show is becoming more
Mhm.
accessible to students in this area. And one of the other partnerships that we have is with the Holocaust Museum and
Oh,
Cohen Education
really?
Center. Yeah. So we again a few years ago we recognized the need to tell stories about Holocaust survivors
Mm-hmm.
because they are unfortunately passing away,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's we're at that time, and what better way to tell their stories than through theater arts? And
Wow.
so we partnered with them. They offered us testimonials of Holocaust survivors. We chose the story of Abe Price, who helped found the Holocaust Museum here in Naples. And so I directed Jeffrey Binder, who's been on Broadway and was a Gulfshore Playhouse staff member for some time, and comes back and
Mm-hmm.
performs and directs. So he wrote this play. It's a 45-minute play based on Abe Price. It's called Remember, the Story of Abe Price, and I directed it. And it's 4 actors, and it tours the schools in our area.
Oh, wow.
And coming up this November, we will be going to Columbus, Ohio, and bringing it to 8 different schools
Wow.
in Columbus, which is a first for me,
Right.
definitely, but a first for Gulfshore Playhouse.
So you're branching out from Naples.
We are, yeah, and it's an amazing story. I mean, Abe escaped Nazi captivity 5 times,
Oh my gosh.
including Auschwitz.
Wow.
So it's a story of perseverance.
Mhm.
There's Abe was a strong-willed man,
You would
and
have to be to get through that.
to get through it. And the impact that this play has had on staff and students
Mhm.
in our area has been unbelievable.
Mhm.
I mean, we've had students crying, we've had students asking
Yeah.
just so deep, thoughtful questions
Mhm.
during our talkbacks. Abe's 2 sons that live here in season come to the schools
Mhm.
and they participate in the talkbacks. So we were
Wow.
always learning something about Abe during the performances.
Mhm.
So that's a very special partnership that we have.
That's very cool. So
Sure.
you're deeply rooted in our community. You're part of our community. You're building this beautiful new facility here in
So
town that
excited.
everyone's going to be able to see. That you're not going to be able to pass by on that road without knowing what the heck that is.
No, I mean, it is not far from the road, and it's huge. We have we're gonna have 2 stages. We have the Moran main stage and the Strother studio, and we have an education wing.
Wow.
So it's really, really exciting stuff that's happening at
That is
Gulfshire Playhouse.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm gonna do some speed rounds with you again. Last time it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm ready.
Okay. What's the funniest thing that has ever happened to you while performing?
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. So once I was late to a performance.
Uh-oh.
It's not well, it's funny now.
Yeah, right. It wasn't then.
It wasn't then. I was 40 minutes late.
Oh God.
Because
Like we're not talking 10 minutes.
No. 40 minutes late.
Oh.
I hit traffic, and this was up in New Jersey, and there was an accident, and I was stuck in traffic. If anybody knows the Jersey Shore,
I don't know nothing. I know nothing.
You know nothing.
I know nothing.
Jersey Shore traffic is awful, and it was a Sunday, and there was an accident, and I hit traffic, and I've never freaked out in a car before, but I was freaking out in this car. And so I called the director. I was calling the stage manager, and they're like, "Steven, listen, we're occupied. We have a sing-along happening right now with the audience.
Oh my God.
Just park your car."
So were you holding it up?
Yes.
You were holding it in the production?
It was All Shook Up. So if you don't know All Shook Up,
I
it's a jukebox musical of all Elvis songs.
Oh,
I was
you're
the Elvis character.
Oh my God. Elvis is not in the building yet. Elvis is not in the building.
So they made me park out front. The director got in the car, parked my car, and he was like, "Steven, just run through the audience. Like, let the audience see you."
Oh my God, that's great.
Thank God I already did my hair, right? So I already got the height of the hair. I ran, I thanked and said sorry. I don't know how many times I was running down the house, up on stage. I went backstage. The whole cast was waiting for me. I took a drink of water, put on my leather jacket. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Let's just get this started." And I get out on stage, and I had the first line of the song. It was Jailhouse Rock.
Oh my God.
But
I could have ended up in jail after this, fighting traffic, speeding.
Honestly, but they were so forgiving. They were so, and they gave us a standing ovation at the end of that show.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So funny, but not funny.
But it's funny now.
It's funny now.
Have you met any famous people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, who? Dish, please.
Okay. Justin Long, I met him.
Oh yes, he just got engaged recently.
Yep. While I was on the Grease show on NBC, he was dating one of the contestants. So
oh my God,
met him on an elevator. Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, really?
She was a
Oh,
sweetheart.
oh my
Sweetheart.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see who else. I'm sure. No, I don't think anybody big enough. But I do have this like idea of who would be at my dinner table.
Yes, who would be?
Tom Hanks
Tom Hanks.
is
Okay.
number one.
Love it.
Definitely. And his wife Rita, because she's
Yeah,
Greek.
yeah, yeah. Oh
And
gosh.
she's
Of
so
course.
talented.
Of course.
So I gotta throw that in there.
Who's the number 2? Oh,
Michelle Obama.
Oh.
I think she's badass.
She is badass.
I'd love to like just have a beer with her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just saw a quote from her yesterday. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But just saw a quote about it. Yes.
Well, she's cool.
Ambition or talent? What means more to success? Or what leads you to success? Which one of the two?
Am I allowed to say both?
You can. You can say anything.
I want to add on to that. So ambition is totally important. You need to dream big and you need to raise the stakes for yourself and challenge yourself. Take risks.
Even though you're not a risk taker.
Even though I'm not a risk taker, I like to think I am.
But you took some by moving here.
And honestly, the biggest risks that I've taken in my life have turned out great. And I do attribute that to my wife. She's a stable being. She's humble. She takes me on adventures, and some of those have been the best experiences.
She's not in the acting realm.
No, she's not. She appreciates it. But she's not. She's awesome. She kicks ass behind the scenes.
Cool.
Yeah, she's an event manager and runs programs, and yeah.
That's cool. But she has your back and she
has
my
your
dream.
Absolutely. And I do her. But I would also add to ambition and talent. And with ambition, you should naturally gain talent in whatever field you want to, and just learn from people. But above all, I think having humility is more important.
Love that.
And I teach that to my students. You could be the most talented person and even so most ambitious person, but to be humble and to accept feedback and to learn and grow from others and just break down those walls of envy that we naturally tend to build for ourselves. Break it down. Yeah. It's okay that you're not perfect, but it's also okay and encouraged to learn and understand that, you know what, this might not have gone my way, but this is a learning experience. And I think I've had a lot of role models in my life that have that outlook. And I try to keep that. I try to be cognizant of that daily because it's not easy. This world is not easy, and you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. And you have to remember that the most individual person is the most interesting person, and you have to sort of hold true to that. And as kids, it's hard. It's hard.
Really hard.
And kids can be mean, and you learn these. You learn these bad habits and insecurities at a young age, and as an adult, you recognize that now, and it's hard to like get past that. So I myself am working on that, and I try to teach my students that as well.
I love that because it always goes back to another saying here, but your mess becomes your message. So later in life, you see the things that have gone on before, that becomes your message to people, and that you're mentoring.
Girl, you need to put that on a shirt and sell it.
It's out there. It's not my saying.
Okay.
It's
just
something I live
change
by.
the word.
Yeah, right. It's something I live by because I believe it.
Yep.
It's just, it goes to, I see somebody on Facebook and they look like they have all their crap together and and I've talked about this before, and they don't. Who has everything together? Nobody.
It's all a facade.
Exactly.
Nobody really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, right. We're all just lying by the seat of our pants, but you learn as you go, and you take that and use that to teach someone else. So.
Absolutely. Positive outlook on life. As dark as our days are. What was the quote I just read? I just read it. At some point at the end of a storm, the rain runs out. And it's true. There are bright days ahead, and you have to have that support system in place. You can't live life without a support system, whether that's one person in your life that truly cares about you and you them, or your family, or a close group of
Mhm.
friends, you got to have a support system.
Love it. That's fabulous. So, Stephen, if our listeners would love to get a hold of you, how do they do so?
Well, professionally, associated with Gulfshore Playhouse as the director of education, you can visit gulfshoreplayhouse.org to find out all about our education programs and our professional theater opportunities we have. If you'd like to see me actually perform anything, you can go to my website, stephencalakos.com. But I suggest you go to gulfshoreplayhouse.org and take one of our classes and come see our shows, because we are an incredible theater organization, and I'm so proud to represent Gulfshore Playhouse.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you.
And thank you, friends, for joining me today and every week here on The Fashionista Life, brought to you by True Fashionistas. If you want a deeper dive, head to my website, thefashionistalife.com, to sign up for my weekly newsletters, where we take a deeper dive each week into a new topic. Have a fabulous day.